On this episode of Mythbusters, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a Mythbusters superhero special.
Let's go!
The team put some classic caped capers to the test and blow the lid off some superhero gadgets. Find out, can a belt-buckle grappling hook help you rise to the occasion? Then it's Fight Club superhero style. Can a single superhero punch really leave a ring-shaped scar? And we reveal the Mythmobile and try some high-speed comic book cornering.
What happened?
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage.
Wake up! Time for science!
And Jamie Heinemann.
Mush. Is that beautiful or what?
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
That was totally amazing.
Joining them, Grant Imahara.
No, the crocodile!
Tori Belleci.
No telling what might happen this time.
And Carrie Byron.
That seems really, really, really dangerous.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Hi, Tori.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Good.
No, don't tell me.
Exactly. We're about to do an entire episode of nothing but superhero myths.
Superhero myths? Isn't that going to be kind of impossible to test?
Technically, yes, most superhero powers are totally mythical. No one can run at the speed of light, no one can spin webs, and no one turns green when they get angry and has super strength. But there is an aspect that we can test empirically, and it mostly involves gadgets.
A mythical superhero gadget.
Exactly.
Well, if we're gonna do this in true superhero fashion, I think all of you need to put your underwear on the outside of your pants.
You're right, let's do it.
When disaster strikes, superheroes
He is Starman.
and their gadgets come to save the day. But now, these torpedoes in tights are also getting put under the Mythbusters microscope.
So you look all excited. What's going on?
We are doing a superhero device that I've always wanted to build. It's a key component on the belt of nocturnal echolocating flying mammal man.
Batman.
Yes, shh. Anyway, he's always got this on his belt, and when he's in danger, he'll fire it at a wall, go boom, stick in the wall, and he'll use either a zip line or a mechanical ascender to get himself away. It's the grappling gun.
We can do that.
In a never-ending fight against crime, superheroes often have to leap tall buildings. And if they can't do it in a single bound, like Superman, they could always rely on their trusty grappling guns to give them that extra lift. But is climbing a building like this really possible?
How are we going to test this one?
I think that's actually pretty easy. We just gotta get some real off-the-shelf grappling hooks and use them to climb some walls. And we're gonna have to do this one for real, man. We can't fake it this time.
No.
And so, a short time later,
Everything is perfect, right?
Yeah, this area ought to be good.
the Mythbusters have a wall, and Adam a grappling hook. No superhero technology here, just a regular off-the-shelf grappler. But will this device be enough to let him climb the walls?
This is grappling hook number one. It's actually collapsible, so I guess it fits in your bag well. And you set it up like this, you thread it down, and there, it's ready to go.
The Battelle Tactical Air-Initiated Launch System, TAILS for short, was developed for the U.S. Navy to aid ship-to-ship rescue.
It's a little bigger than Batman's. It has a tank, it's got a piston, and it just lets the piston go and it shoots the grappling hook. It'll go 100 feet straight up.
And that's a prospect that's got Jamie cackling like a supervillain. Before they crawl the wall, they rig a safety system.
This setup right here is our safety backup. This is a belay system, and so if there's anything that goes wrong with the grappling hook, this will kick in and keep one of us from falling and hitting the ground. Jess will be on the ground paying out rope as one of us tries to climb up. So if that person slips Jess will catch them.
And Jess will catch them. That's the theory. So will these regular grappling hooks enable Adam and Jamie to walk the wall like the Cape Crusader?
You know, I'm not in really great shape like Batman is, but, you know, we're gonna try.
Oh, I caught a big one. Look at that. That'll feed my family for a month.
While Adam struggles with the mojo of the throw, Jamie's off like a shot.
3, 2, 1.
Well, you cleared the whole building, Jamie. Nice work.
Hey!
Finally, Adam's grappling hook also grabs hold.
Is that purchase?
You've got purchase.
So that just leaves the climbing.
Y'all said Batman?
I'm all set, Boy Wonder.
Adam attacks the wall head on.
This is not gonna happen at all.
Don't remember Batman having this much trouble. With Adam floundering like a fish out of water, Jamie's decided to try a different climbing technique.
What I'm tying here is known as a prusik knot. Basically, it's a one-way knot. When you push on it, it slides up, but when you bear down on it, it won't go the other way.
Thanks to his knots, Jamie soon up, and away.
Oh yeah, he's cruising now.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new superhero on the block. Jamie Heinemann is the inchworm, able to leap tall buildings, given plenty of notice. But at least he's gaining altitude. His fellow hero's not scaling, he's abseiling.
All right. If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna lie here for a little while.
No.
Jamie eventually makes it to the top, but not at a great rate of knots.
My little knot trick worked, but it took me probably just under 10 minutes to make it up this 20-foot wall. And if you're a superhero trying to save the little old lady, you need to do it quicker than that.
While both grappling hooks held firm, it was the boys' ascent that failed. To get this myth off the ground, they're going to need to build something that can take the climb out of the equation, superhero style.
I think we need to go back to the shop and build our own solution.
Okay, let's go.
It's the Mythbusters Superhero Special, and superheroes big and small are getting put to the test. And next up, a superhero myth with a very familiar ring.
Are you ready for a fun, violent myth? It involves punching, sparring, and none other than the Phantom. He's a superhero that left that nasty calling card on all of his evildoers.
Yeah, you know, he's that guy that could punch people so hard that he'd leave a scar in the shape of a skull from his ring.
The bling's the thing in this comic book classic. A superhero swings and adds imprint to injury by branding the baddie with an indelible ring scar. But is that possible even for a superhero?
So how are we going to do this one?
Well, Carrie, I really don't think we should test this on each other because personally, I don't want to risk a permanent scar on my face.
We can't punch each other. Who are we gonna punch?
Well, it sounds like we're going to need a human analog. So it looks like it's pig time.
Perfect. I think we should use human force as a control, and then I'll build a machine to punch with the force of a heavyweight prize fighter.
That's good. That'll give us the maximum strength that a person can punch with.
And if that doesn't work, we'll go superhuman.
Well, you deal with the pig and you build the robot. That means I get to build a Mythbuster Phantom skull ring.
The guys won't be pulling any punches. They'll make a fake fist, complete with skull ring, and attach it to an air-powered punching rig. The rig has to hit like a human, so Grant sets up the force plate.
We're gonna see what we can punch, then we're going to calibrate our robot to punch the same amount, and we'll see what we get.
Soon the fists are flying. But none of these guys have super strength. The best of the three was Tori's, which peaked at a rather feeble 1,750 newtons.
But our research says that The upper range, which is a heavyweight boxer, is about 4,000 newtons.
What?
Oh my God!
Dude, we're not even close.
As we know, Grant was raised by robots. And given that special affinity, he soon got a punching machine ready to swing.
Okay, so this is our superhero punching ring. Now our air cylinder is right here, and the fist goes on the end of this. And when we're ready, we go, and that gives you a punch.
Tori's making a good fist of making a fist.
What I'm doing right now is I'm casting my hand in a fist shape because we're gonna be needing to punch a bunch of times at superhero strength, and we want a hand that's not gonna break like mine may have.
That's the theory. And by using a combination of ballistics gel and urethane hardener, Tori should get a fist that can roll with the punches.
All right, so the fist looks great. It's really, really hard, but it's still rubber, so it shouldn't shatter when we start punching with superhero strength.
Meanwhile, Carrie's designed some superhero-style rings and carved them in wax.
To keep with the Phantom theme, I've got a skull. Also incorporated the MB from Mythbusters to make it a little bit more ours. Next step is to take all of these rings that I've carved down to the crucible, get them cast up in metal. I need these two in adamantium and these two in kryptonite.
We don't have either of those, but we do have sterling silver.
Sterling silver will do nicely. But talking of kryptonite,
How can we even go near an episode about superheroes without talking about Superman, the caped wonder himself? But we do know Superman's fatal weakness, don't we? Yes! Kryptonite! And last year in Serbia, a mineral was found that matched the properties of kryptonite. It's called sodium lithium boron silicate hydroxide. Unfortunately, they can't call it kryptonite because it doesn't have anything to do with krypton, an actual element in the periodic table, and it's not green. Maybe it's got a negative effect on Superman, but we haven't found him yet.
faster than a speeding bullet, Carrie's rings are ready.
Criminals beware the mark of the Mythbuster.
Whoa!
Cool! Let me see.
Dude, you look like a rapper.
That is cool.
Tori glues one of the rings on his dummy fist.
The Phantom, he always has his punching ring on his middle finger. Now we can start fighting crime.
What will happen when Pig and air-powered pugilist clash? Will the mark of the Mythbusters be buried in bacon?
This pig won't know what hit him. Or maybe he will.
We go 3, 2, 1.
The rig matched Tori's knuckle-busting punch, 1,750 newtons. Remember, this is what happens in the comics. Just one punch, and the villain's got a permanent skull scar. But how about in real life?
No devastating scars.
I see the edge of something there.
Yeah, but there's no, like, indentation of the skull.
That means Tori's punch isn't enough to do it, so we need to ramp this up to the most powerful punch we know to human, which would be the prize fighter.
Oh, not Jamie Heinemann?
Okay.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Dude, that was a great solid punch.
That was a good hit.
All right,
You knocked him out!
Yeah.
and no scar. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna ramp it up to superhero strength, punch it again, hopefully we'll get a scar. But if we don't, we're gonna have to think of something else.
They max out the air pressure, 120 psi. Grant's robot takes a superhuman swing.
Hey. Wow, that knocked the pig off the forklift.
But still no mark of the Mythbusters. They're not making much of an impression on this superhero myth.
Well, we're not getting any scarring on the pig rump so far. This is looking busted.
Yeah, I know. This doesn't look like it's gonna work at all.
Well, if I were gonna leave my gruesome calling card on an evildoer, I wouldn't be hitting the soft, fleshy parts. I'd be hitting him in the face.
You know what? That would actually work to our advantage. If you were to punch somebody in the forehead, that's thin skin and thin muscle stretched over a hard surface, that might actually leave a scar.
Old Yorick here, who we all knew well, was last seen being turned into a lockpick kebab as the guys burst a car airbag myth. And now he's back for some superhero science. First up, Tori gives the skull a little pigskin for the ring to ram.
So you named your guy there?
Yes.
What did you name him?
Porcloinio.
You did not.
He's an evil pig man.
Okay, Porcloinio, you asked for it. Prepare to feel the sting of the ring. First, at Tori's force.
3, 2, 1.
Nice punch! He clobbered him.
Oh, good hit.
It's definitely a good punch to the head, and it would hurt a lot, but I don't see a scar in the shape of a skull, just a mild contusion.
Tori failed to land the knockout blow to confirm this superhero classic. How about a heavyweight?
Here we go. This is heavyweight fighter strength in 3, 2, 1. No, I don't see any skull in the flesh.
It sure was ugly, but 4,000 newtons wasn't enough to put the sign of the skull on old Porcloinio. Even in this best-case taut skin scenario.
Superhero strength?
Yeah.
Okay, the gloves are off. The fist flashes at 120 psi.
3, 2, 1.
Was a shot.
And Porcloinio's feeling a little crushed.
You might not leave it, like the print of the ring, but you're definitely gonna rip through the scalps.
There's no way to leave a perfect skull-shaped scar without doing more permanent damage. This superhero myth, like our comic book criminal, is out for the count.
I guess we can call this one right here. We don't need to go any further.
You feeling it's busted?
Just like a skull.
Yeah. Busted.
Put on your cape, dust off your tights, and take to the skies, because the Mythbusters are seeing if superhero gadgets are nothing more than a flash in the pan. Adam and Jamie are first trying to find out if the minuscule handheld grappling hooks that hoist up superheroes can really work. So far, their efforts have been more comical than comic book, but now they've hatched an evil plan.
Whoa! I think our course is pretty clear. I think we're going to have to build this device ourselves.
Yeah, but it seems to me that there are actually two distinct elements to this cable gun winch thing.
Okay, what are they?
Well, you've got the winch,
right,
and you've got the gun. So why don't we treat them separately, and one of us build one build the other.
So why don't you take the mechanical ascending rig, and I'll take the gun that fires the thing into the wall that sticks in the wall.
Okay.
And then we'll finish off with the final climb off.
Great.
All right.
Our superheroes go head-to-head. Jamie's task is to build a super lightweight winch to ascend buildings at the push of a button. Adam's making a device that can shoot a cable into a concrete wall.
I got the nail in there. Look at that.
There's just one rule. Both gadgets have to be as small as possible so they can fit on a superhero's belt.
The challenge in this particular case is how small can we get it? It's got to be really powerful and really small.
Jamie's device straps to his forearm and is powered by a battery on his belt. The motor is the smallest and fastest he could find. It puts out 30,000 RPM. But by itself, it's not powerful enough to hoist Heinemann up a high-rise.
These gear reductions actually translate the power that this engine puts out into something I can use. Instead of 30,000 RPM, they're reducing the speed and increasing the torque. So I end up with something that is 750 RPM, but very powerful.
It's sure got a flashy superhero feel, but will it work? Jamie's going to test it on his sidekick.
What I'm going to do, instead of trying to pull myself up, is actually pull Jess along the floor. She's going to go skiing in the shop.
All right, Jamie, I'm ready.
Does Jamie's rig have the pulling power to make Jess do the shop floor shimmy?
It worked.
It worked. Looks like superhero gadget number 1 is ready to roll. Meanwhile, on the other side of the myth cave, Adam's getting the drop on his cable firing device.
Batman's grappling gun, it can do a bunch of things, but the one I'm concerned with is that it can shoot over into a brick or concrete or masonry wall and stay there and actually string a cable that can support Batman's weight.
The centerpiece of his design is a .22 caliber nail gun.
Takes a rimfire .22 caliber shell here, sticks in there, put your nail in the tip, bring it up to it, bang, hit it, crack. .22 caliber shell fires a nail right into the concrete.
His cunning plan: attach the cable to the nail gun, then fire that from a diver's spear gun. When the nail gun hits the wall, the blank round fires the nail into the concrete, and the cable's ready to cross. Like this.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, well, sorta.
Batman probably didn't get it on his first try either.
No.
So,
You know, it's gonna take time.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. Shoot, you gotta work out that hitting the wall part. Adam's little firing mechanism here is totally superhero-esque, and it's dangerous, so that's Mythbuster-esque.
Obviously, I'm going to go back to the other shop and play around with aiming and adding some air power to this to get a better throw.
Once he's done that, the scene is set for a superhero grappling gadget showdown.
You all set with that thing?
I am. You're just working?
Works like a charm.
Let's go be Batman.
Okay.
All superheroes have costumes, some better than others. But can you really get changed in a phone booth in time to save the day?
What's in the bag?
Superhero costumes. There's one more myth that we want to test. It's not really a myth. We want to see how fast we can change into a super outfit before we go fight crime. All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
All right.
When Carrie Byron gets the call for help, she doesn't waste a second.
I like she does the hair flip.
She wins my vote.
Emerging mere moments later as the one and only Myth Girl.
Stopping the time. You did it in 33 seconds.
So Carrie could get changed in the cramped space, but hardly at superhero speed. Can Grant do any better? Will he have to phone for help to get out?
Come on, get out. And time. Stop. Myth Girl has beaten you. Your time was 1 minute, 1 second.
It's the last chance for this crew. Can Tori strip faster than a speeding bullet?
You got too many accessories.
Minute 20.
Tori was the slowest, but villains can never rest. Not whenever the spasm's on their trail. Wait a minute, spasms?
He has muscle spasms, so the bad guys never know when he's gonna attack. Can be here or here. Sometimes I don't even know.
Well, I may have had 33 seconds, which was the quickest time, but I need that extra time so that I can catch up to the boys in these spiked stiletto heels.
You know, you can't be Grant Man all the time. Sometimes you just have to be Grant.
Should we go fight crime?
Yeah, let's
go.
We're flying high in a superhero special, and the next myth combines cars and comic book craziness.
Next up, Batmobile 90-degree turn.
Batman, to get away from the bad guys screaming down the street, and to escape, all he has to do is push a button that deploys a grappling hook, grabs onto his steel structure, and it whirls him around the corner. And the crooks can't get him.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Holy awesomeness, Grant Man. Let's see how this myth works. During our comic strip car chase, our hero hits a button, and a grappling hook fires from the car, wraps itself around a steel structure, and swings our superheroes through a high-speed 90-degree turn to safety.
We have to build a cannon capable of firing a grappling hook. A grappling hook strong enough to hold the force of a car, and if all that works, hope that the structure doesn't crumple.
Here's the plan. The guys will mount an air-powered cannon in a car, fire a grappling hook at speed, and see if the cable can swing the car around a right-angle bend. First things first, though, this myth needs wheels.
Obviously, we're gonna need a car for all this, and I have the perfect one in mind. Jamie and Adam just did a Knight Rider myth, and they have a car just rusting out in the parking lot.
The Mythmobile.
Did you just come up with that?
Yeah, I did.
The joker aside, this car is perfect for this myth because it's already been fitted with a roll cage and safety harnesses, which means all Carrie and Tori have to do is transform the transport into something more befitting a superhero.
Oh, this is gonna be the coolest Batmobile ever!
Meanwhile, Grant's finding out more about the serious physics facing them in this myth.
And one thing we have to consider with this myth is that we're going from a straight path, once we hook onto that structure, into a circular one. Now, this induces a force that points inwards towards the center called centripetal force. And you can calculate that based on the weight of the car, the distance from the center, and the speed that you're going. Now, I've run the numbers, and we should be experiencing about 7,000 pounds, and that's gonna be the tension on the cable. So we're gonna select our cable to be more than adequate to handle that amount of force.
Will the Mythmobile be able to cope with that kind of hardcore cornering? One thing it can turn is heads.
What do you think of the car?
Cool.
See?
Okay, the Mythmobile is ready. That's stage one. Stage two, they need a grappling hook. The comic book hook opens on hinges. Tori's built an identical version, but something about it just doesn't grab him.
My feeling is there's no way this is strong enough to hold the force of a car. You know, you have these pivot points, those are probably gonna break. The way I look at it is it would have to be a solid piece of steel and a lot beefier to hold the force of a car.
To test his theory, Tori connects the bat hook to the bat forklift and ties the bat cable to the bat truck.
My feeling is it's probably gonna rip this hook to shreds, which is okay, because I like breaking things.
Carrie backs up, and just as Tori predicted, the hook can't hold.
There's no way that's gonna hold a car.
They call me the Cougar. All right, it looks like the hinge grappling hook is just way too weak. I don't think it's gonna work.
Well, that's myth busted right there, isn't it?
Oh, I kind of want to keep going. I think if we use a solid steel grappling hook, that might work.
Well, I've got an idea for an air cannon to launch the grappling hook, but if you're gonna use solid steel, we're gonna have to make it a lot more powerful, and I have the answer. I'm gonna use nitrogen, which will give us up to 3,000 PSI of working pressure.
Oh my God.
Dude, that sounds superhero-y.
3,000 PSI? To put that into perspective, Grant's cannon will be 60 times more powerful than Adam and Jamie's famous chicken gun. But because it has to fit into a superhero's car, it'll be much more compact.
Holy air cannon, Grant man.
How long have you been waiting to unleash that one?
All day.
Waiting all day.
Waiting for that one.
You know, this is actually the most dangerous thing I've built in a long line of dangerous things.
And to show just how dangerous, Grant does some test fires with a steel tube.
I like to call this impact art. It represents man's inhumanity to man.
Although its aim is a little inconsistent, Grant can't help but dial the pressure up to the max. And there's a problem.
The projectile missed my target board, missed the mattress, and lodged itself in the wall. I can see daylight through there. I might have to go have a chat with them. Hi, I just wanted to let you know we had a little accident in the shop, and I punched a small hole through the wall.
While Grant apologizes to the neighbors, Tori's bending steel like Superman. Except Superman doesn't have to heat his up first.
All right, so the grappling hook is done. We weighed it. It weighs 10.5 pounds. Now we're gonna put it in the air cannon and see how far it goes.
This time the cannon's at 2/3 power. Will that be enough to send 10 pounds of solid steel through the air, comic book style?
All right, you ready?
Oh, so ready.
2200, real hook. In 3, 2, 1.
The cannon launched the hook all right. It also launched itself clean off the table.
Where's the camera?
Where's the high-speed camera?
The phrase loose cannon comes to mind.
You know what? We didn't take into consideration the mass of the hook.
Oh, Newton's laws.
Whoa,
We
dude.
forgot the Newton's laws.
Oh, you mean the one that says for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction?
Look at that.
You know, we've done a lot of experiments on the show. Things have gone wrong, but that's the first time that I've ever felt that much danger.
So for test 2, they lock the cannon in place.
In 3, 2, 1.
And get a perfect result.
Wow.
Nice.
The grappling hook flew straight as an arrow. So bring on the Mythmobile. It's the Mythbusters Superhero Special. If you're a cape-clad hero, it's not good for the image to be seen taking the elevator. You get much more cred if you fire your trusty grappling hook and quickly ascend to the city skyline. Adam and Jamie have devised their own miniature superhero-style grappling devices and are looking for the same uplifting experience.
Perfect. You want to go first or should I?
Sure, I'll go first. How about right over here?
Today we've come north of the Mythbusters shop to the Hamilton Air Force Base in Novato. And while it may look like an abandoned aircraft hangar, in fact it is a super modern superhero training facility.
Jamie prepares to go from mild-mannered Mythbuster to skybound superhero. Adam's impressed.
That's awesome.
Awesome it may be, but does it fit the size criteria? Remember, superhero devices are unfeasibly small.
I think it qualifies in the size criteria. The motor he's chosen is absolutely the highest powered tiny motor that is out there that's declassified.
Jamie's rig doesn't have to shoot the cable. We just want to know if it can lift him like a superhero.
God, I hate these things. Give me a ladder any day of the week.
Adam attaches Jamie's cable to a beam.
So Jamie's climb is going to be a straight vertical ascent. There's going to be nothing around him. He is using only the tiny line that's high test to get him to the rafters, which are about 27 feet off the floor.
Just in case it's not clear, this line is a safety. This isn't helping in any way to pull me up. This is only in case this breaks, then Adam and Jess will stop me.
Can Jamie's grappling gadget get him off the ground?
I've had no time to test it, no time to do anything other than assemble it and come out and then put my life on the end of it. I just have this sinking feeling that I'm gonna hear this little tink and it's gonna be all over. Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
Jamie's soaring towards success when the cable suddenly snaps. And like Superman after a brush with kryptonite, our hero comes back down to Earth.
I think I should maybe pick the slightly heavier line.
Did the line snap?
Uh-huh.
Thanks to Adam and Jess, Jamie was spared a painful fall from grace.
It's a little scary actually, but you know, the motor actually didn't even know I was there, you know? So it's plenty of power.
The heavier lines wound on, and once again,
Yeah, it's good.
Jamie's all up in the air.
All the way. Oh, come on. Oh, you can do it. Oh, yeah.
I made it.
That's a surefire superhero success, just like the comic strip.
He made it from the floor to the rafters in 20 seconds. That's 27 feet. That's superhero speed.
But how's he going to get back down?
Shoot.
The rig's got no reverse gear. With the device strapped to his arm, Jamie has no choice but to sever the line and hope Adam and Jess can give him a soft landing. He makes the cut. And that's when things come crashing down.
I just whacked myself in the nose really hard. Yeah, I cut the line and it was like snap, whack. Just not the kind of thing you want to hit yourself in the face with.
This right here is the blood of the Heinemann, revered by the Chinese for its healing and restorative properties. In a few hours, it will begin to eat through the floor of this building, and then it will replicate.
I tell you what, this thing has balls.
totally capable of pulling me up and more. We just built it in a couple days, so it's got some bugs, so sue me. But with another day, maybe I could make this like really sweet, and it's just fantastic. It works like a charm.
So Jamie passed with flying colors. A miniature motorized ascender is really possible. Which means next up, it's Adam and his concrete-piercing grappler.
I haven't come up with a name for it. Nocturnal echolocating flying mammal man's cable shooter? How's that?
Stunt-driving superheroes only have to fire a grappling hook at a convenient roadside structure, and their car squeals through a 90-degree turn at super speed. The Mythbusters want to see what the laws of physics have to say about that. Our intrepid trio have test-fired their grappling hook at 2,000 psi.
So now we have a working cannon, and a working grappling hook, and a Mythmobile. It's time to marry the three together.
The cannon is mounted on a heavy-duty bracket directly behind the passenger seat, and a hole cut to make room for the barrel.
Cool. It fits.
So the cannon's working, the hook is strong. I think we're ready to go.
But we're gonna have to find something that's gonna be strong enough that once we grapple onto it, the weight of the car isn't just gonna rip it down.
Well, we've been looking at railway supports, radio towers, and lamp posts. And funnily enough, no one is willing to let us wreck their structures for our experiment.
We're gonna have to build something, aren't we?
Yeah.
At an old abandoned naval base nearby, the time-lapse kicks in, and the team has its steel structure, complete with nooks and crannies for a hook to hook into. They mark out their 90-degree turn and make a mini Mythum City out of boxes.
The next thing we have to do is establish a speed at which you cannot make that 90-degree turn without the grappling hook. That will be our starting speed.
So first up, with the hook under wraps, they're going to find out the speed at which turning the corner without a grappler is impossible, starting with 20 miles an hour.
Okay, you're gonna go 20 miles an hour trying to make that 90-degree turn.
And go.
Reach 20 miles an hour.
They've reached 20 miles an hour, and they're still conscious. These speeds are terrifying. And she made it. No crashing into Mythum City. All right, back to the start.
So at 20, taking the turn was straightforward. But at 30, it's a different story.
Carrie, what happened?
Turn the wheel, it locked, skid completely into it. It went.
Carrie lost control at 30 miles per hour. So that'll be the speed for our first grappling hook test.
This is all a little frightening. We've seen what this grappling hook can do, and now we're going to drive and fire it.
In the Mythbusters Superhero Special, Jamie just leaped a tall building with a single motor. But can Adam fire a line into a wall?
This is an underwater spear gun firing this weight behind a .22 caliber rimfire concrete nail round, which will activate this piston, driving this nail into the wall. Also, on its way, we'll be dragging this cable going into the wall, hopefully leaving it in the wall with enough force that I can tie it off at the other end, hook a pulley up to it, and down to the wall.
It's not as small as something Batman would use, but will it work? Adam takes his position on his make-believe rooftop and takes aim at the villain's lair.
3, 2, 1. All right, reset.
He reloads. Again. And again. The nail gun's firing when it hits the wall, but for some reason the nails aren't penetrating. Seems those dastardly crooks have built their hideout from some sort of super tough material.
This is definitely harder concrete than anything I've dealt with before, because I've never seen that kind of thing.
And it is a military base.
It is a military base.
But a superhero never gives up.
Unfortunately, the way it works in Batman movies, doesn't involve him shooting at something and it bouncing off and falling on the ground. However, that's probably the reality of this type of device.
But Perseverance Savage finally finds a chink in the armor.
But I think I'm in.
You're in.
Dude, I'm trying it.
Go for it.
Here we go.
The nail's not in deep, but our hero's gonna swing into action. Adam clips into a safety harness and prepares to put his superhero status on the line, literally.
I'm clipping into the line, Boy Wonder.
I'm Batman. You're Boy Wonder, and if you make it across, then you can be Batman.
Oh, really?
I made it all the way up.
Can Adam swing to superhero glory, or will he plummet to sidekick status?
In 3, 2, 1. Oh!
Well, looks like you're Boy Wonder.
Oh!
The line couldn't hold Adam's weight. The nail pulled straight out of the wall, leaving him just hanging around.
Personally, I think the idea of a belt-sized shooter that will get you into any kind of wall is totally busted. Can someone let me down now?
I would say that your device was exceptional. It really did, I think, make it a plausible case for a belt-wearable, superhero-like mechanical ascending rig.
Well, thank you. And your cable shooting rig actually seemed like it worked quite well, but it just didn't quite make it into this hardened concrete. I'm not so sure that I'm ready to give that one up, but for now we have to call it busted.
Yeah, totally busted.
Let's get out of here.
All right.
Our superhero special is accelerating towards its climax. Carrie, Tori, and Grant are all set to discover if their grappling hook cannon can let them make a superhero-style 90-degree turn without slowing down. Every precaution has been taken. Carrie and Grant are in full safety gear. There's a ballistics panel between them and the cannon. The car has been fitted with roll bars, and the grappling hook rope is on a quick release.
There's a quick release, which is going to be remote controlled by Tori. If he doesn't let that quick release go at the right time, we could flip around and careen into this building. So now is when this experiment starts to get scary.
The key to success is the rope. Once the hook grabs hold, the line will have to withstand 7,000 pounds of centripetal force.
This is the highest performance material you can buy these days. It's used by the military. In strength for weight ratio, it's stronger than steel.
All right, this is the plan. Carrie's gonna drive down this road. She's gonna get up to 30 miles an hour. At this point, Grant's gonna fire the cannon, bang. The hook is gonna grapple onto our structure. As soon as the rope gets taut, she's gonna make the turn around the 90-degree turn. As soon as they get to this point, I'm gonna quick release the rope and they'll be able to drive off.
Is this comic strip stunt possible? If so, will it take superhero strength to keep the Mythmobile under control? Carrie hits 30 miles per hour. Grant triggers the cannon. The hook hits the target, but disaster strikes.
Whoa!
We did not complete our superhero mission. We did not make a 90-degree turn with the grappling hook. But there is good news. It was not due to human factor. As you can see from the skid marks, my driving was right on course. If you can see from the footage, Grant's aim was perfect. The grappling hook looked like it would have gotten into the perfect place, but the rope broke. Now, luckily, we have a thicker rope, so we're not beat yet.
The new, thicker rope's made from the same high-tech material. And like its predecessor, it's strong, but also flexible enough to wrap the pole. Just what this myth needs.
You guys ready?
Standing by.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Once again, our dynamic duo put the pedal to the metal and their lives on the line as they try to make the hair-raising hairpin bend.
We hit it! She made it. Did my eyes deceive me, or did she just make that turn?
Actually, Tori, your eyes did deceive you. The firing was spot on. The car started to make the turn, but just when the G-force maxed out, the rope snapped again, and the car plowed into the buildings.
Now we had it.
I know.
It was too good to be true.
It's all right. Metropolis wasn't built in a day.
Now, let me remind you what the situation is here. I'm trying to hit a target this big from the side of a car moving at 30 miles an hour with a nitrogen-powered cannon. Not exactly the easiest thing to do in the world.
Despite Grant's difficulties, everything's working. Carrie's maintaining correct course and speed. Grant's right on the money firing the cannon. The only weak link is the one connecting Mythmobile to Grappling Hook. But they've got one last chance.
We're going to replace the high-strength, high-tech fiber rope with 3/8-inch steel cable.
The steel cable has a breaking strength of almost 15,000 pounds, but it comes at a price. It's so heavy and inflexible that it may not be able to wrap around the structure. This is the final throw of the dice.
All right, release the hound.
Grant buckles up, Carrie revs up, and they both get fired up. It's now or never for this myth.
This is the one.
What happened?
I think we have a result here, you guys.
Curses, foiled again. The Mythmobile still couldn't make the turn. It left the road and careered into peak hour pedestrians. Not a good look for a superhero.
The entire car just jerked really, really hard to the left and then let go.
As the steel cable jerked tight, it broke not once, but twice, at the hook and the car. Despite its immense braking strength, it snapped as if it were cotton twine.
This is where the hook was connected to the cable, and it totally shredded. I mean, it's just not strong enough. This cable is not strong enough. This one's looking busted.
This myth needs a cable that just doesn't exist. One that's lightweight so it can be fired, flexible so that it can wrap, yet immensely strong to withstand the massive force. Looks like this superhero myth will be confined to the comics.
Okay, Team Mythbusters, how did we do on the superhero myths? The Phantom's Ring.
Busted. We actually crushed the skull before we could leave a mark.
The grappling gun, Jamie.
Well, the cable shooter didn't work so well, but the ascender worked pretty good, even if it was a little big for the belt.
All right, and finally, the Mythmobile mounted grappling cannon.
I think we really nailed this one. Our cannon worked perfectly, we hooked our target, but we broke every cable we could find.
Yep, this one's busted.
Well, sounds like we did some good work out there, Mythbusters. Now let's get out and fight some crime! Hi-ya!